Hi, I'm Brian Bino here at the Fight Scholar Boxing Club. We're putting on a fight tonight, November to Remember, Part 3, The Hard Way. We're here with a ringside physician, a very experienced ringside physician, Dr. David Venturi. We're here to talk a little bit about the safety of amateur boxing. I have a few questions for the doctor. Doctor, how many amateur boxing events have you been doing over the years, the number of bouts you've been involved in?
This is my 15th year, and I've boxed over 45, I've been on 4,500 fights plus.
So let's, I would say that would make you a very experienced ringside physician. There's been a lot of talk in the media, obviously with Sidney Crosby and a lot of other high-profile athletes getting concussions in contact sports such as hockey, football, etc. A lot of parents are apprehensive about kids participating in boxing. As a physician that is a man of your experience, what would you say to parents of a teenager or a young athlete that would want to be involved in boxing about the safety of boxing with regards to weight classes and experience levels and the safety of amateur boxing in general?
Well, Brian, from my experience, boxing is a very, very safe sport. As a matter of fact, it's one of the safest, especially in Ontario, because of our strict rules and our strict guidelines. The athlete is asked to train, be disciplined, and before he's even allowed into the ring, he has to pass a few tests. And so in terms of training, it's a wonderful way of getting discipline, and it also is very important a way of getting physically fit. So many of the people that we know, that I've seen over the years, have become very, very prominent citizens. They get self-respect and self-image, and it's a very good sport from my point of view.
Absolutely. Well, you know, one of the things here at Fight Scholar we try to stress is the development of the young person in and out of the ring, the self-discipline that you mentioned, and the self-respect, the positive self-image you get from the sport of boxing is very important. But you know, when I look at the sports like football and hockey, where you have a 15-year-old boy who may weigh 150 pounds competing against a 15, 16-year-old boy that may be 180 or 200 pounds, I think that has a lot of effect in terms of the concussion syndromes that they get involved in with the contact sport.
Well, from a ringside position point of view, we have at weigh-ins, before each fight, we actually weigh both boxers, and there's a very tight window for weigh-ins. We only allow 1 kilogram difference for all weight classes. So if a person comes in at 64 kilos, he's only allowed to be 65 kilos or 63 kilos. Anything higher or lower is not allowed. So these athletes are very good at discipline in terms of learning how to eat. This is not about weight loss or weight management. It's about controlling their diet and exercising and keeping their goals at hand. It's very difficult to maintain a weight, especially when you go to weigh-in. So we're very strict. I've stopped many fights just because people have lost 1.1 kilo because they actually was dehydrated. They actually lost weight by losing water, which is not allowed at all.
They say in the statistics from AIBA, the Amateur Boxing Association, that less than 1% of international or elite level boxing ends in knockout.
That's right.
In your career as a ringside physician, especially with novice amateur boxers, what would you say the percentages of stoppages?
In amateur boxing in Ontario, from my experience, I can count the number of knockouts, serious knockouts on one hand. The goal, the headgear equipment, and the officials who are watching each fight. There's a ringside referee, there's the chief official, and myself, plus the corner. These athletes are actually prevented from getting head injuries because of how we stop the fight before it happens. So we're very good at recognizing when the boxer's too tired or he's not defending himself, and we're very good at stopping the fight, which is I think why Ontario is well known for its safety.
I think a lot of the sports attention in the media now with the concussion syndrome and head injury, concussion issues, is sort of raising the awareness of the mentality of athletes, as opposed to, you know, because you get your bell rung, you're okay son, keep going, to trying to actually have safer coaching in terms of football, hockey, and in boxing. I'd like you to answer a question. Do you think it's safer not only because you do have to pass a medical to participate and have a ringside examination
Before and after.
your competition? Do you think that addresses a safety issue that a lot of people aren't aware of?
Well, experienced ringside people like myself, we watch these boxers when they come in, actually into the weigh-in room, and we recognize injuries before the bout, and we actually stop the fights before. In terms of head injuries, if there is a head injury that occurs, the rules are very strict. Minimum penalty is 2 months, and they can't do anything, including sparring. So if they followed that rule in hockey or football, there'd be no players. So we know from our experience that head injuries we do not take lightly, and we have things in place that force us to look, and if there is one, we make sure that the regulations are followed. So the pre-bout, during the bout, and post-bout physicals are part of the unique part about Ontario boxing.
So the safety standards are very high in Ontario, and you've been a big part of keeping the sport safe. So Dr. Venturi, I'd like to thank you for your time, and that's enough for today. We'll talk to you after the fights.